2. Wheat Triticum aestivum, 2n equals 42. Wheat ranks first in the world among the cereals both in respect of area and production, so wheat is called as king of cereals. In India, wheat is the second most crop in area and production after rice. The word cereals derived from a Roman word, C.R.I, which means the goddess of grain. Wheat contains spongy protein L. Gluten, this is colloidal complex of gliadin and glutenin in equal amounts, which is essential for baking, bakery products. Gluten is somewhat harmful to children's health. Wheat protein is rich in niacin and thiamine content. Pearling index in wheat. To determine the hardiness of grain, a higher value of Pi means lower kernel hardness. In wheat, the permanent adventitious roots develops below the soil surface after the appearance of the first leaves, at C.R.I stage, is called clonal roots. Wheat inflorescence known as ear or spike and seed is chiopsis. Mustard is a very common crop usually intercropped with wheat. The test weight of wheat grain is about 40 grams. While test weight of Phalaris minor is only 2 grams. Gene responsible for dwarfness in wheat is Noron 10, which is a Japanese variety isolated by Dr. Bolog in 1960 at Mexico. In India, introduced dwarf, photo-insensitive high-yielding Mexican varieties in 1963 like La Marojo, Sonaro 63, Sonaro 64 and Mayo 64 were imported by then Minister of Agriculture, Shri C. Subramaniam and released for commercially cultivation in India, 1965. These varieties were responsible for Green Revolution in India. Area and production, India. Area. UP greater than MP greater than Punjab. Production. UP greater than Punjab greater than Haryana. Productivity. Punjab 45 Ha greater than Haryana. The highest productivity of wheat in Punjab due to nearly 100% area of wheat is under irrigated conditions and higher doses of fertilizer consumption. Classification. 1. Common bread wheat or bread wheat T. aestivum. Its hexaploids, 2n equals 42, imported species but mostly grown in India. Occupying about 87% of wheat area. It is good for chapati making and bakery products. Introduced in India by Bolog from Mexico, hence called Mexican dwarf wheat and responsible for Green Revolution. 2. Durum, macaroni wheat T. Durum. Tetraploids, 2n28. Used for suji, semia preparation. This occupies about 12% of wheat area, particularly in central and southern India in rain-fed condition. Durum varieties, Jairaj. Malavika. 3. Emma wheat T. Dicocum. Tetraploids, 2n28. Occupies about 1% wheat area confined to GJ, MH, AP, KN and TN. Suitable for preparation of South Indian dish, Uppumav. 4. Diploid species. 1. Triticum monococcum. 2n equals 14, diploid wheat. E. Triticum aegiliploid, 2n equals 14, diploid wheat. Origin of place, S. W. Asia, Turkey. Irrigation stages of wheat, by R.B.L. Bhardwaj. 1. C.R.I, crown root initiation, stage. It comes 21 days after sowing. It is most critical stage of irrigation. Transition zone between root and shoot is known as crown root initiation. 2. Tilling stage, up to 40 to 45 day after sowing. 3. Jointing stage, up to 60 to 65 day after sowing. 4. Flowering, booting, stage, up to 80 to 85 day after sowing. 5. Milking stage, up to 100 to 105 day after sowing. 6. Dough stage, up to 115 to 120 day after sowing. Dough stage is refers to when milky fluid in wheat grains turns harden. If water is available to provide only one irrigation, then it should be applied at C.R.I stage. If water is available to provide two irrigations, then it is preferred at C.R.I and at flowering. Climate, C3, long day plant. The most ideal conditions for desirable wheat growth are 1. Cool and moist weather during the vegetative growth period. 2. Warm and dry weather during grain formation. Booting stage. It is reproductive stage in wheat characterized by the swelling of the uppermost internode. The spike which is inside is held by the last leaf called flag leaf. This is the stage of the maximum leaf areas. Varieties. Noran 10 cultivar has created a new chapter in the history of wheat breeding. The dwarfness of Noran was the result of two particularly recessive genes, which marked with the symbols of SD1 and SD2. Mexican varieties were red-colored grains while Indian and its cross are amber-colored. 1. Single gene dwarf. Lerma Rojo 64A. Sajata. Girija. Suitable for hills of North India. Sonalika. Developed from selection of HD 1553 and RR 21. 2. Double gene dwarf. Kalyan Sona. Developed from Kalyan 227 and Sona 227. Sonaro 64, Choti Lerma. HD 2009, Arjun, HD 2329, Janak. 3. Triple gene dwarf, developed in 1970. Hira, Moti, Lal Badshah. 4. Mutant varieties, released from IARI, New Delhi. Sharbati Sonora developed from Sonaro 64. Posa Lerma from Lerma Rojo 64A. Other popular varieties. Lok 1, suitable for late sowing. C306, Farmy wheat, tall variety, suitable for rain-fed, excellent in chapatti making quality. K65, tall variety, suitable for late sowing in saline soils. Sajata, suitable for dry land, unirrigated area. Shailaja, suitable for Himachal Pradesh. Malavia 12, protein content is about 15%. WH147, suitable for making good quality of chapatti. PBW502, 2004, good yielder under irrigated, cool climate. DBW17, 2006, suitable for bread making. RAJ 3765, late sowing variety, resistant to lodging. RAJ 4037, 2004, suitable for warm climate. RAJ 3077, suitable for saline and late sowing. RAJ 4120, 2009, resistant to UG99 race of rust, yield 48 to 58 Q per hectare. Seed rate. For normal sowing, 100 kg seeds per hectare. For late or broadcasting, 125 kg seeds per hectare. For dibbling required, 25 to 30 kg seeds per hectare. Spacing. RXP 22.5 by 10 cm for irrigated. Depth of sowing is depends on length of coleoptiles. Single gene dwarf varieties, 5 to 6 cm depth. Double gene dwarf varieties, 4 to 5 cm depth. Triple dwarf varieties are sown at 3 to 4 cm depth. An average 5 cm depth is ideal for wheat sowing. Sowing date. 1. Fortnight of November is the best time of wheat sowing, while rain-fed wheat is sown in second fortnight of October. Sowing methods. 1. Drilling. Seed-cum-ferty drills is best and most common method. 2. Broadcasting. Required more seeds. 3. Dibbling. Sowing with dibbler, required less seeds than other methods. 4. Behind the plow method. These are two types. A. Kera method. When seeds are dropped by hand in the furrows made by country plow is known as Kera method. B. Pora method. When seeds are dropped in furrow by funnel or nai attached to the plow is known as Pora method. 5. FIRB method. New method of sowing is furrow irrigated raised bed system. It gives average to higher yield than other methods. Fertilizer and manures. Nitrogen, 120 kg per hectare. Phosphorus, 60 kg per hectare. Potash, 40 kg per hectare. Dose. Half dose of nitrogen and full dose of P and K applied as basal and remaining half dose of nitrogen applied as top dressing at first irrigations. Under rain-fed condition, full dose of nitrogen, P and K should be placed into soil before sowing. Under rain-fed condition, spray of Thea at 0.5% in standing crops gives 10 to 15% higher yield. Weed management. A. Monocot weeds. Phalaris minor. For the control of Phalaris minor, applied isoproteron at 0.75 kg a.I. per hectare at 30 to 35 days after sowing. Phalaris minor has showed resistance against isoproteron reported by Dr. R.K. Malik at Hisar. Hence sulfosulfuron at 20 grams per hectare or metasulfuron at 4 grams per hectare can be used instead isoproteron against Phalaris minor. Avena fatua, wild oat, to control Phalaris minor and Avena fatua, a post-emergence application of tribunal, now banned in India due to carcinogenic properties. B. Dicot weeds. Example. Chenopodium album. Anagallis arvensis, Melilotus spp. etc. Applied to 4D-ether salt is post-emergence i.e. 30 to 35 DAS at 500 ml per hectare to control dicot, broad-leaved weeds. In dwarf varieties, application of 2,4-D should be sprayed at 30 to 35 days after sowing because 1 week earlier spray may cause ear malformation in wheat. 2,4-D. 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Important questions. Botanical name of common bread wheat is Triticum aestivum. Origin of wheat is Southwest Asia, Turkey. Flowering portion of wheat is called spike or ear. Macaroni wheat is known as Triticum durum. Emmer wheat is known as T. dicocum. Suitable late sown variety of wheat. Lok 1, RAJ 3765, Sonalika. Spacing of row to row in wheat, 22.5 centimeters. Most critical stage for irrigation. C.R.I. 21 DAS. Gene responsible for dwarfness in wheat is Noron 10. Important mimicry weed of wheat is Phalaris minor. Test weight of wheat seed 40 grams. Test weight of Phalaris minor is 2 grams. Drift hazard into adjoining pulse crop is due to spray of 2,4-D. Triple gene dwarf varieties of wheat Hira, Moti, Arjun. Central zigzag axis of wheat spikelet is called riches. Fruit type of wheat is Chiopsis. First man-made cereals, triticale. Triticale is a cross of wheat C.R.I. DT46 is a variety of triticale. Temperature for germination of wheat seed 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. Protein content in wheat 8 to 11%. World staple food grain crop is wheat. Most of the present day's Indians wheat varieties contain the gene RHT1 and RHT2. The wheat protein which is essential for good bread quality and chapati making is gluten. For safe storage, moisture content of grain should be ranges from 10 to 12%. Triticum aestivum was first introduced in the India by N.E. Bolog of Mexico. Moisture content at harvesting stage in wheat is 25 to 30%. Triple gene dwarf varieties were released in the year 1970. The state which has highest production and cultivation area of wheat, UP. Export quality of wheat is influenced by Karnal bunt. Dwarfing agent for wheat croppers, Psychocell. Objectionable weed of wheat is Convolves arvensis. Variety of wheat, susceptible to 2,4-D where spike deformity occur, HD2009, Arjun. Primary roots in wheat that support and nourish the plants at initial stage is called seminal roots. In wheat hybridization method most common use, Gujo method. Absolute weed of wheat is Chenopodium album. Recommended ratio for wheat plus mustard intercropping is 9:1. Biofertilizer for wheat is Azotobacter. Multilines in wheat are produced by back cross breeding.